Danny has reached out to us today for the 7:15 second date update. Commercial-free New Country, 99.5 QYK. They've hung out twice, which is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Right.
so you would think that was good. Second time they hung out, it was at his house, and he cooked her dinner. But since then, hasn't heard from her.
He said something about making a move. Maybe it's because he didn't do that. He said he was a complete gentleman, so maybe that's what it is.
And that's a bad thing to be a complete gentleman and not make a move?
No, but maybe she was just looking for something else.
Oh, all right. Well, we're
I
going to
don't
find
know.
out. Well, hey, we're going to find out because we got her on hold right now. Let's bring her back on. Elena, you there?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. I have to get to work. What is this about?
Okay, so I'll get right to it. Give me 20 seconds. Here's what it's about. It's about a date you went on with this guy, Danny. He told us that you guys went to a happy hour your first time you hung out. The second time you hung out, you went over to his house. He cooked you dinner. He said it went really well. You guys enjoy each other's company. He was a complete gentleman. And I guess you even texted him saying you made it home safe and thank you for everything. But since that text, after the date, he's been trying to get a hold of you, hasn't heard anything, and we were just wondering if there was a reason for that.
Oh, yeah, he may have cooked me dinner, but I did a whole lot more for him.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Kind of stuff.
I basically cleaned his whole house.
You cleaned his house?
Yeah, like, when I got there, he had a glass of wine waiting for me, which I thought was sweet. But, he invited me over to cook me dinner, and the first thing he has me do is clean off his table. He's like, oh, yeah, I didn't have time to clean up the table. Would you mind doing it? And it's like, okay, that's kind of weird, but sure. And it's just got, like, papers and dirty glasses. So, like, I cleaned off the table, and then, like, I sat down to have a sip of the wine. And then he was like, oh, also, I didn't get a chance to vacuum. Would you mind just vacuuming under the table?
Oh, he
real
did
quick?
not. Seriously?
Yeah, and I was like, sure, I guess. So I vacuumed under the table. We had the meal, and, like, the meal goes well. But then he's like, so I cooked, so you got the dishes, right? And I thought he was joking, but he was not joking. He had this man that I have been on now 2 dates with has me do his dishes.
And you did them?
Well, yeah, I was so uncomfortable. Like, I'm in his house. I don't really know him, I didn't want to make it awkward, so I just did them and tried to get out as fast as possible.
Hey, man, you're a good person for doing them. I feel like I would have bailed.
Yeah, but you do that. You help out when you have somebody cook you dinner. Though.
All right,
That's
Lana,
not too much to ask.
If I
is it?
ever have you over for dinner, I'll make sure that you're vacuuming as well.
Not vacuuming.
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
about the dishes, though. You always help out with the dishes.
Sure.
It's a kind gesture.
Right. I'm not sure I would do that on a date, but it's obviously the reason you haven't called him back, Elena.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was just super rude, and, like, who does that,
Yeah, his name's Danny.
Yeah, that happened.
Well, listen, we actually have Danny on the phone, and I would love to ask him about this because that is weird. Let me bring him back on, Elena. Give me 1 second. Danny, you there?
Yeah. I mean, wait, just a second. Where I'm from, it's pretty common that if someone cooks, the least you can do is clear a table. So I don't understand why you're being a priss about it.
Ooh.
Okay. And, like, maybe if we live together, but this was the first time I've been to your house. You're supposed to, like, try to impress me. Like, we're still getting to know each other. I came over because you offered to cook me dinner, so I thought I was going to be able to just, like, relax and enjoy the evening, not work. I would have stayed home and cleaned my own house,
Okay, well, I went out. I did the grocery shopping. I cooked the meal. I brought the wine. And, like, you're just, like, complaining about vacuuming, which took, like, a minute.
It's not the time. It's how rude it was. It's that you should have done that ahead of time. If you wanted to bring me over as your guest, you should have made me feel like a guest, not like I lived there and had to pull my own weight.
I feel like you're exaggerating a little bit, to be honest. Like, it was just a few crumbs on the bottom of the table that you had. The quick vac takes a second to just clean it. I asked you. It wasn't like you were doing my whole house. I wasn't asking you to be a maid.
Felt like I was doing your whole house because it was 3 different tasks over the course of an evening. It was awkward and uncomfortable. And I genuinely can't believe you're trying to make me the bad guy here. I bet anyone listening would never ask that of a guest, especially on a second date.
Is this something you do to your friends, too? Like, your friends come over, you ask them to help out. Hey, can you wipe that down? Hey, can you vacuum this?
Yeah, sure. My buddies that come over, I'll ask them to do stuff, and they'll always help me. It's not like I thought I felt that comfortable with you that you were already, I don't know.
It was a
I just
bonding
felt
thing.
very comfortable with you to ask you for that. I thought we were like on the same page, and then now all of a
Well,
sudden,
I didn't because it was date 2, Danny. And I was like, what's this guy going to ask me to do next date? Like, change his oil? Hem his pants?
Wow.
Like, what is my next
No, I'm not-
task for you?
I don't know. Maybe this was a mistake then. I don't know. If you don't want to help out for a small thing, then what's going to happen in the future when I really need your help? I mean, not to look too far
Okay.
into the future, but I'm just saying, like, I really felt comfortable with you. You felt comfortable enough after first date to come over.
Yeah, and then I didn't feel comfortable anymore. So,
Elena, I'm going to go out on the limb here and say that you probably don't want to hang out with Danny again.
no, I've got some great maid services I can recommend for you, though.
Okay. Well, Danny,
Okay.
I think you and Elena are seeing this situation completely different, obviously, and it looks like it's not going to be a third date for her. So I appreciate you coming on, and Elena, thanks for your time as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you so
gotta
much.
go.
All right, see ya. I mean, the audacity to be able to ask somebody, hey, can you vacuum over there? Can you clean off that table for me? Like, to ask a girl to do that when you're trying to impress her. I mean, what is
Yeah,
that?
I mean, cleaning off a table is one thing if, because like I work at, our table too. A lot of times it's messy, like with
Sure.
computers. Hey, can you just clean that off? But to actually ask her to grab the vacuum, that goes overboard. And then tell her to clean up afterwards. If she was like, hey,
Right.
let's do these, or like, hey, I'll get these dishes. She's going to offer to help.
You would hope.
She will. And so then you'll just do them together. But to say, hey, I cooked, you clean, that's...
That's a little bit too comfortable. Yeah. His argument was, I did all the grocery shopping. I got everything together. This is the least you could do. So does he have a point? We want to know. 800-992-1099. 800-992-1099.